Welcome to the Health Revolution, the program that shows you how to have a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity. We reveal the science-backed strategies that truly work in a sea of fads. We explore the physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery. These are the keys to an enriched life. Join us for inspiring interviews with champions who've conquered life's health challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest. Together, we're about to change the game, starting now. The information provided in this show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Viewers should use their own discretion and consult with a healthcare professional for personalized guidance and recommendations. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Health Revolution. We are so excited that you are joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way that you're tuning into us for season number 3, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show notes. Don't forget that there's some important information about today's episode that you're going to want to tap into. So keep that in mind. So today's episode is one that's near and dear to my heart. It's all about breaking boundaries with autism. Some viewers may or may not know that I am a mom who is also an autism mom. So 3 out of my 4 kids are on the autism spectrum. And the journey of an autism family is very unique in and of itself. And to create those breakthroughs and boundaries are huge and necessary as we're navigating through life. So today we get the chance to highlight an amazing individual who's doing some incredible things and truly redefining his space as a fine young gentleman living with autism. First, please take a look at this video. Let's get to know him. Meet Sam Mitchell, an inspiring podcaster and motivational speaker. Sam runs the successful podcast Autism Rocks and Rolls, sharing his journey as an individual with autism. With over 18,000 downloads, Sam has hosted big names like NASCAR driver Armani Williams, American Idol's James Durbin, autism activist Dr. Temple Grandin, and WWE legend Mick Foley. Beyond podcasting, Sam is an entrepreneur, TED Talk speaker, and an advocate for embracing uniqueness. His mission is clear: to show that autism is not a limitation, but a strength. Sam Mitchell, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Good to be here.
I'm so happy to have you on here. You know, you obviously exude such a vibrant light. And talk a little bit about what your journey has been so far in terms of being a young gentleman living with autism, and what has that been like for you? Allow us to get to know who you are.
My journey's been from rags to riches. It's been a true, one of a kind story. I was bullied a lot. I was excluded, dealt with all the fun stereotypes that I'm sure you can imagine being a mother with autism. I was born with it at 2 years old, but at the age of 16, I was just fed up with it. I just decided to change my ways out of anger and vengeance, and I had to pretty much just be myself and realize if I get booed out of the building, I get booed.
And you talked about your childhood and just growing up with bullying and whatnot. What was it like? How was it for you trying to learn in school and be with your peers? And what are some of the tougher challenges, and what are some things that helped you, and what are some things that were maybe a little bit tougher?
Well, academically, it was great. Teachers were fine. The adults were great. I felt comfortable that, okay, I can maybe at least get an A in a class or pass. They'll give me the resources at least. But the students sucked. It was hard to socialize with peers my age. I got along a lot better, oddly enough, with adults than children my own age. Because, let's just be honest, kids are kids, and they're not going to be the most accepting human beings. Whereas adults, they're still not, but I think there's more accepting adults compared to children.
So, can you share with our viewers how old you are?
21.
You're 21. And how old were you when you first when you first got the diagnosis?
Or
You were 4 years old. Do you remember, was there anything when you were younger that really stood out that would be helpful for our audience to know about being younger with autism? Were any sensory things that really stuck out for you?
well, I used to have meltdowns in Walmart,
Okay.
and not because I didn't get a Hershey bar. It was because of the buzzers going off. They weren't loud; they were just spontaneous. So my mom literally had to leave her grocery cart in the middle of Walmart and take me up to the car because it was a full-fledged meltdown. It wasn't temper tantrum. It was a loud "get me out of here" ordeal.
So would you say that the auditory sensations were just something that was really hard? I know that in the autism world we call it audio or visual stimming. That sometimes that can be an issue. Was it audio that was just the bigger bear, the bigger challenge?
At a young age, yes, but now, no. I actually like loud noises, believe it or not. I mean, the challenge is, I think you can tell, they change. Back when I was younger, it was sensory issues. When I was in the middle, it was teenager having foot and mouth syndrome or being too blunt. Now, the biggest challenge is major anxiety. My anxiety can be, at times, very crippling.
When did that start?
I would say around adulthood. Probably, I've always had anxiety my whole entire life, but it got pretty major around at the time I was starting college.
Gotcha. So growing up in school, what and going through what you did, how did your family, what was helpful for your family to go through in dealing with just being a family of autism?
Standing beside me no matter what, supporting me no matter what I did. They weren't going to support something illegal, like robbing a bank, and I don't blame them one bit. But as long as it was legal and no one was getting hurt, they would have supported me. If I started making an event, I would have been supported. If I started doing something different than I am today, I would have been supported.
Do you have siblings?
No,
Okay.
I'd kill them.
So yeah, siblings can be, yes, they add to the whole picture. So in growing up, did you ever have, so help those who don't understand the autism journey? What was the biggest challenge for you? Was it maybe expressing yourself and being able to advocate for yourself? Was it hard to find the right words? Was it trying to learn and look at the words and formulas and just mathematics, things like that? What was the bigger challenge for you?
Figuring out what to say and how to fit in, because
Okay.
when you try to say something like in person, you gotta be quick on your feet. I can't do that. That's why I've been better with virtual conversations. Not maybe not interviews because I still have to be quick on the feet because I gotta give you an answer. It's part of interviews. But I mean like texting. I can read the response like, all right, all right, here's what I can say. I can read it more in depth, like, okay, here's what we're gonna say. But the fear is with in person, I'm always scared I'm gonna say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time. Because I've done it too many times to count on one finger.
You know what I like, what you're saying is you're adding that social context behind understanding social cues. And so what's exciting about what you're saying is that, as you were growing up, you began to understand the relationships with others. And was that something that began to quickly come, or was this something that you struggled with?
Oh god no, buddy. That took a long time to figure out. That was probably what the time span at 16 was when I started to figure out, okay, this is how socializing operates. This is how we converse. Back at 8 years old, I was in my own little head. You socialize my way, or I just got pretty much angry at you.
So when you got angry, what was it because of the situation that it was pretty tough to manage, or that maybe those around you, family or classmates or the teacher, didn't understand, and they didn't get what you were where you were coming from?
Yeah, that was the frustrating part is when I couldn't get the words out. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't have severe anger issues now. Back in the day, I did, but my anger issues are minor. I'm just gonna say I've thrown a chair a couple of times in my day, but it was just I couldn't explain the words. So what was I supposed to do? I tried using verbal communication. I tried doing it nicely. I guess I got to be mean about it. That was my thought at 8 years old. Now I know, okay, you don't do that. But I did not know what else to do.
What was your favorite subject in school?
English. I got that from my mother. We like
Really?
English a lot. I'd rather write a paper than solve 2x plus 3y equals 3z.
Oh, goodness, you're taking me back. So with English, what's the one thing about it? Would you say that it's the English language, or is it the way, trying to communicate better, that was that really spoke to you?
It's probably creativity in words. Math, there's no creativity. It's just logic and you follow a pattern. You can't really create anything about math. I mean, it's 4x plus 2y equals 3. You can't change anything. But in English, you can make multiple errors and fix them. With math, you have to start all over. And English, it's just more fun. I'd rather write a paper than solve a math problem. But it's also the creativity. Math's not creative. I mean, it's just solving problems, which we need to do. But if I had a choice, I'd rather go write a word paper and be creative over using solving a problem. And I probably need to because my critical thinking skills aren't the best, but I'd rather do it creatively.
Were there things that teachers did that were very helpful that not all teachers do?
Probably visual and slowing pace. I'm not the best with pace. If you go too fast on a certain subject, if you went fast on chemistry, it'd be out the window. I'd be like, what? And if you went fast with math, I'd be like, what? But if you slow it down a little bit, I can do her.
So the teachers that were very patient with you were very helpful, and you learned more.
Yeah. And I would do my part, but they had to do their part too. And that was slowing down the pace so I could have a better understanding. Maybe instead of going for 2.1 to 2.2 the next day, you do 2.1. Now you give me review 2.1 worksheet. All right, you have a good grasp on it. Let's go 2.2.
Did you have were there teachers that didn't do it that way, that maybe they were too much of in a hurry? Where there were moments where teachers were just not as eh, that they didn't pace things for you?
Oh, lots of them. I had to deal with that in college. Now, thankfully, I definitely have managed that a little better. But there's a certain class, I probably won't say what it is, but it was like college level. And I was a junior in high school. So I learned to adapt real quickly, but it wasn't very rosy. It was very hard. I was encouraged to drop out of it, but I didn't because I was stubborn. Thankfully, I did pass the class though.
So you graduated high school and you went to college. Did you always want to go to college, or was there a major that you wanted to major in?
Well, the funny thing was, before I found broadcasting and media club and the podcasting, it was going to be a travel agent because I
Okay.
do like to travel. I've been to a lot of vacations. I think it's fun. Vacations are like holidays, in my view. You take time off and you're not worrying about a thing, just like holidays. You're taking time off of work, you're not worrying about a thing.
Where was your favorite place to go for vacation?
Man, anywhere warm. I'm not a guy who likes the cold. I'll take the heat over the cold any day. But my favorite place to go is Destin, Florida. Warm sand and yummy seafood.
And well, the Gulf waters definitely has, yes, the seafood is very, very good for sure. So the traveling was happening, and you've been traveling throughout your entire life? Did your family make it a point to travel?
When we can. I mean, we got to make it affordable, clearly. But if we can afford it, we'll do it. And plus, we do a lot of small trips, my mother and I.
That's fantastic. So she's probably been, or I'm guessing that she's been your biggest advocate, that she's just been your biggest cheerleader, biggest champion.
Yes, ma'am. She was the one who's had my back since day one. A lot of people have had my back more, too. But it takes a village, so there's a lot more people than just her.
So going to college and you decided to enroll, and were you nervous? Were you worried? Did it not bother you? You just thought maybe I'll just take the course curriculum and I'll just take it step by step. What was that like for you?
Well, my college career really began at the time of COVID, and I was going to go in person at first, but I didn't want to because of just, how COVID, you can imagine my anxiety with COVID. So I just chose to do it online, and that was a good step. But then I went there in person. It was decent, but I still wasn't, the best feeling. It was decent. I wasn't taking what I wanted to take. But then I shifted to Vincennes, and I was nervous at first. I'm not going to lie to you. But I was hoping that the positives would outweigh the negatives, and it did after a while. I was taking great classes. I made some friends. Then once it started to wrap up, I took more classes I wanted to take. I made more friends in a group of friends, which was a first. And we actually started running around together.
That's fantastic. So they embraced you, and they started to learn about you and you being an adult with autism. What was that like, that they, when they first learned about you and they got to know you?
Well, in general, I made a first friend that wasn't the one who was talking to me at kindergarten. It felt wonderful. But the kicker was with that is I've always had friends, but it was never a pack. This was the first time I had a pack of friends where we were all friends. I was friends with this person. He was friends with the same person. He was friends with this person. I was friends with the same person. And we were all four together versus previously I had friends, but they weren't friends with each other.
That's fantastic. Well, that's fantastic. We have so much more to go into your podcast and just all the experiences you've had. But first, we're going to take a commercial break, and stay with us. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fit Bites with Adriana. As temperatures rise, it's crucial to talk about a serious heat-related issue, heat stroke. Let's dive into what it is, the warning signs, and how to prevent it. Heat stroke occurs when your body overheats, typically as a result of prolonged exposure to or physical exertion in high temperatures. Now, this is the most severe form of heat injury and can occur if your body temperature rises to 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius or higher. Now, the warning signs include throbbing headache, dizziness, muscle weakness, nausea, confusion, and a rapid heartbeat. You might also stop sweating, even if it's very hot. To prevent heat stroke, stay hydrated and wear loose, lightweight clothing when you're out in the sun. Take frequent breaks in the shade or indoors, and never underestimate the power of a cool, refreshing drink to help lower your body temperature. Remember, heat stroke is an emergency if you or someone else exhibits these symptoms. Please seek medical help immediately. Stay safe and keep cool. Tune in next time for more Fit Bites, and here's to enjoying the summer safely.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I live in Colorado with a very active lifestyle where my family and I race horses and rodeo. I'm happy to share an amazing technology that has changed my life. 6 months ago, my friend introduced me to a wearable nanocrystal technology that is activated through phototherapy, or your own body's light. With this technology, this little patch is able to increase the copper GHK peptides in your body, which can reactivate stem cells. The beautiful thing about stem cells is that it goes in your body and fixes whatever's broken. If you would like to experience more energy, better sleep, weight loss, or countless other benefits, click on the QR code below to find the younger, healthier you with this affordable technology that I have seen change hundreds of lives.
Welcome back to the Health Revolution. Welcome back, everybody. My guest today is Sam Mitchell. He is an amazing young man with autism, and he is doing some incredible things. We were talking about breaking boundaries with autism. And Sam, before the break, you started to share about your college experience and how you've grown socially. You've with your major, you've been able to put one foot in front of the other. I want to talk about your podcast and talk a little bit about when you decided to start it. Let's see if we can bring up the screen. And when did you decide to do a podcast? And let's talk about the type of whom all that you've interviewed.
Well, I just realized before you went on the commercial break, I realized this comes out on 4th of July. So before I get into that question, just want to wish everybody a very happy American Day, as I call it, or 4th of July. But to get back to business, my podcast is called Autism Rocks and Rolls, and it is a podcast about autism and how we cope with daily struggles that you may or may not understand. Some of my biggest guests I've had are Dr. Temple Grant, probably the biggest autism activist out there, changed the agricultural world in many ways. I don't think cows could get butchered if she wasn't around. And we've also had a lot of professional wrestlers. I've had Mick Foley, Kane, Buff Bagwell, and Victoria, and I'm trying to think of another one here. Raven from ECW. I've also had America's Got Talent and American Idol contestants.
And when did you start your podcast, Autism Rocks and Rolls?
That started in October 2019 after I found the Media Club, and I just loved it so much I wanted to start my own instead of waiting for college, and that was when Autism Rocks and Rolls was born.
Now, did you come up with the name, or was it something that just really embodied some of the stuff that you like to do?
Well, it was from me. I had to go down my hobbies list and realized, oh, rock and roll music. Well, I tried different titles first. Rock and roll taken, rocks and roll taken, rock and roll's taken. Oh, wait a minute. Let's add S's. See if the S's work. Oh, works. Let's use that. All right. And there you go. The rest is history.
Absolutely. So how many, so 2019, so this would be your fifth year of running the podcast.
I think so.
So what's it like connecting with those who have been impacted by autism, or those who are guests who have been impacted by the journey? What are some things that you've learned from others?
Well, people need this. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who would still ridicule us. And I hate to say this, but your children too. I'm not saying everyone would ridicule your children, but there's some out there that would. And some don't, but it's for sympathy. You have autism. I'm so sorry. Why are you sorry?
Yeah.
I mean, I get there's a certain population that is maybe not have the correct motor skills. There's this video that's produced by a competition of ours, and they didn't show the full spectrum. They were just showing what people think, and that is they can't brush their teeth. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. They have trouble sleeping. You have to make them breakfast their whole entire life. Well, they're not looking, but he can go to work. He actually goes to school and gets all A's. He also graduated and gave a very good speech. Where was that in the video?
Agree. We have to be able to show all areas, all the potential that persons with autism the exhibit, and the quality of life matters for everybody. And what have been some of the coolest conversations that you have had on your podcast?
The coolest conversations have been with just hearing about their story, but just seeing how they overcame their own story or their ability. I mean, they've all had to get there in their own ways. As some got there quicker than others, but it's just great to see where they got to. I mean, it's great to see the guy who was on drugs and alcohol, who was not sober, drunk on the ground, arrested, and may I dare I say, in prison, to now seeing, whoa, he got here. He's now a multimillionaire. Not that I ever had one, it's just an example.
So before today, I learned that you shared with me that you had interviewed Armani Williams. And I did not know that he was the first NASCAR driver with autism. And what was that like to interview? And what did you learn about him and him creating breakthrough boundaries for the NASCAR industry?
I think it was great. I mean, some people on spectrum need probably that. Maybe they want to learn to drive or they don't think they're going to get behind a wheel. Well, he's living proof you can get behind a wheel despite your autism.
Was it a conversation that you were happy to have, that he shared so much of his journey? Were there things that you learned that you didn't know about how he became a professional driver?
The hyper focusing is example. The reason being he's a NASCAR driver is because when he hops in that car, there's nothing else in the world that matters. It's just him driving his car.
And for our viewers that are watching, you illustrate such a good point in that there are times with persons with autism that just have an advanced characteristic that they're able to tune in and fine tune and just elevate it to level expert. And are there things that you feel like you've shown, or that you find yourself shining in the light, that you just feel like you've been an expert at more so than others?
Well, this for one thing, but just studying the history of items and research, I can do some pretty good research. When I was doing my job interview, well, the first one is kind of more like, I want to get to know you. I got put on the spot and I didn't know the answer. Well, I thought, okay, to be safe, I'm going to research this company and give some great answers. Did the research. Within 3 seconds, I had facts. So the next time she gave me the call, I knew what to say.
And you and in taking that in, I think that that's fantastic, because you're showing that you put that effort in, and you're also demonstrating that whatever assumptions that people have about you having autism, that they're out the door. And I think that's fantastic. What goals do you have for the podcast? Is there a certain goal that you're hoping to reach in terms of listeners? Are there any Is there anyone that you would love to interview on your podcast that's not been interviewed yet?
Well, the two that I would love to, they're Hollywood celebrity style. Eminem and Gordon Ramsay.
Eminem and Gordon Ramsay, yes, so they're movers and shakers in their respective industries. 100%. And what kind of feedback have you been getting on your podcast with listeners tuning in, and the type of reviews that you've gotten? Have there been some really cool feedback that you've gotten?
Great feedback. One of the previous guests I've had was a comedian, and pretty much, as you know, 15 years old, my life sucked. But when I got cheered it up, was watching him on World's Dumbest, Brad Loakley. He's an accepted human being who's also an LGBTQ comedian, probably one of the funniest human beings I ever met. Well, full circle moment came on my show. And his feedback from his testimony was honestly one of my favorite podcasts I've been on ever.
What is the one experience that you would love to have and highlight on your podcast as just sharing with your listeners that there's so much that you can do with your life and you could take it to new heights?
Well, commentary. I've always liked to doing commentary at local wrestling shows, but I've already did that. So the next one, I guess, is commentary at Monster Jam or commentary somewhere, maybe at a sporting speedway racing event.
So you love racing, you love the cars, all of that.
Semi racing, yeah. I like some redneck stuff, and that's definitely a redneck item.
And that's okay if it is. And is there a favorite circuit of yours that you just love to watch and you love to dig into?
Circuit is professional wrestling. I've dug into that since I was 6.
Okay. So what's neat about that is that with wrestling, I mean, you have to, as I'm imagining, you have to have different angles in which that you're going to win and that you're going to overcome your opponent. Yes.
Yeah. And it has to be perfect. I mean, like broadcasting, it has to be perfect. You screw up a move, you're done. I know one guy tried to do a backflip in the wrestling, what's called a moonsault off the second rope. He landed completely wrong and it ended his career. So you have to be pitch perfect or your body's gonna be screwed up.
So in addition to your podcast, where do you want it to go? Where do you want it to lead you?
Well, I'm always taking it one day at a time, but I would like it to lead me maybe to making it a potential job. I mean, I'm an executive director, but I have to do another job, which I like. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt right now, WQRK 105.5, doing an internship there, one of the best radio stations out there for Southern Indiana. But I just wish I could make that a job and not have to do this with it. But although I want to get to do this at the same time.
So you mentioned that you have an internship. Are there certain things about their internship that really surprised you about the production of the radio station?
Timing. I didn't realize how much timing was so valuable in the broadcasting industry, and I'm a terrible time taker. I can do okay, what's 12:30? Oh, it's 2:30. What's 30 minutes from there? Oh, that's 1:00. Can you tell me 45 minutes? Okay. No idea. Well, you need to get 9 seconds from this interview. I just did everything I could. What else is there to do? So I love the production is my favorite part.
So
I got back from doing a live on the radio station. That was really fun. But I obviously, and this is kind of obvious, there's also chores you got to do around there. And it's not the most fun to do, but hey, you got to do it. It's part of running a radio station.
How many people does it take for the production to really come together? Would you say that there's a lot? Is it
3 or 4?
3 or 4?
3 or 4.
Okay. So it sounds like you're learning so much behind the scenes and that visually it comes together. Would you say is that something that as the final product, how the segment is running, that you're able to see how one area relies on the other, all of that?
Mm-hmm. And it truly comes together once you see it on the radio yourself.
So your favorite topics that are covered when you're there, and with the internship, are there certain segments that you get to be a part of that you can help?
It is a Son Duncan show. The Son Duncan Show, that's a local radio show in Bedford, but I'm a part of their intro. I get to do some of the weather live, get to tell weather. And I get to also help out with making some of the ads that are on the radio station.
Oh, fantastic. So then that means that the eyes and the ears of having the message come together, you're getting some good practice and you're starting to get better and better with each one. Yes?
Yeah. And I wanted to start early. I didn't want to wait till next year to really hone in on these skills. I wanted to be more prepared for next year. So I just decided let's do some learning a little bit more over the summer. Does it suck that my summer might go away and maybe not socialize like I wanted to? Yeah. But will it be worth it in the end? Oh my goodness, yes.
So the socialization piece, is that something that you do look forward to, or is that something that when you practice, you just obviously you're able to be better and better with it?
Well, okay, let's just give an example. Let's say, okay, I'm going to go to Outback with a friend here, who I've known for a long time. Hey, going there, yes, I'm nervous. I think, God, please don't say the wrong thing. I'm listening to music to get through it. But once I get there, the nervousness goes away. Now, during the interaction, am I nervous still? Yes. But compare it to going there? No. But then leaving, I always think, what did I say or what did I do? Because I forget. I forget due to the nervousness. That's how nervous I get.
Is there anything that helps you to self-soothe, that just maybe self-talk or just deep breaths or having a moment where you can pause and then just push through the moment? Is there anything that just really helps you, that's a good tool that helps you deal with either a stressful situation or a situation where you're nervous?
Take time for myself. Today, I'm not doing anything for anyone. I might interact with people. But as far as friends my age, no. Today's more of a self-Sam day. Let's call it that.
Self That's incredible. What has been helpful that your friends have done that has made things a whole lot better? What are some things that are really cool about your friendships with the people who are close to you?
They stay. They're willing to stay and not ditch me off the side of the road like many have before because I can be a handful. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that handfulness of mine.
Do you find that when you share
From the time from the time I was a child, I was high maintenance. I still am.
Okay. I think sometimes we all are. I mean, I have moments like that too. So I think that it's okay. And do you think it makes a difference when you try to let others know that it's maybe a tougher time that you're going through, or no, if it's a situation that's just a little tricky?
Yeah. I've letting some people know who are the right people to know, but then I'll wait for some. I just gotta get a read on the person.
Okay. We have more to cover. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Thank you so much for watching The Health Revolution. Our show is growing, and it's all thanks to viewers like you. No matter how you found us, please hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue to deliver amazing content to you.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
Share this with your friends and family and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
We can take our own health into our own hands. Okay? So we'll kind of expand on that. So I take a lot of vitamins every day. Long before I started this business, my wife has had me taking my vitamin C, my B complexes, amino acids every single solitary day, and I still do, even though I still do IVs as well. But when you take vitamins orally, you get 15 to 20% of them. Some people get less because they have autoimmune issues. Some people have a lot of inflammation issues, whatever the case may be, so they don't get the absorption that they need to be getting. So they don't get their immune system built up. Doing the mobile IVs, I'm able to take your immune system, I'm able to naturally boost it.
Welcome back to the Health Revolution. My guest today, Sam Mitchell, he is the podcaster. He is the founder of Autism Rocks and Rolls. He's an incredible young man who is living with autism. And, you know, before the break, we were going into detail about your podcast. And I'm wondering if you have a goal to reach with your podcast. What are some things that you're hoping to do, Sam, with your podcast going forward? What are some goals that you have for it?
Well, the goal is always going to be the same: to change lives and help someone out. I mean, that's been the goal since day one, man. I just want someone to not go through what I went through. Despite, even if it's not autism, I just hate seeing someone feel so awful of themselves because I did.
And that's huge because obviously autism families have such a unique journey, and it's a lifelong journey that we're on. Talk a little bit about some upcoming events that you have. I know that you've got a really neat event coming up, and I just want to share the flyer with our viewers here as we're pulling it up. Talk a little bit about what is the poker run that you're part of. What is this event?
All right, so here's what we're going to do, because I made a boo-boo and sent you the wrong flyer. So we're going to ignore the bottom half. I'll explain the bottom half, but you can keep the the first half on top, excuse me. So Autism Rocks and Rolls, it presents the first annual Summer Bash, and that's going to be on July 20th, which is the Hairbangers Ball at Bloomfield. It's a local Midwestern band. But then we also have the poker run. That is correct. But what's not correct is it's not Saturday, August 5th. It's Saturday, August 3rd. And the registration's the same. Ignore that. We do start at Bloomington Harley Davidson, but instead of ending at the Fowler Pumpkin Patch, we end at our place.
Okay.
And that is for motorcyclists. So if you're a motorcyclist or are in Indiana, feel free to come on down. But also, it's just for a charity ride. We'll stop at fun places. I think one of the places is a shop where they got all kinds of cool food. I think my dad brought home pumpkin pancakes for us to try, and it was pretty delicious. You could get it too.
Well, I can only imagine how delicious they are, for sure. Now this is an annual run that you do. Have you all been doing this for a few years?
Second one. First one was last year. This is our second. So we're still a new company as a little bit, as you can tell, but we plan on doing it annually.
And what was your turnout last year? What was that like? How many people turned out?
Well, I think a lot of people turned up, but the rain was kind of a kicker and people kind of went home early. We're hoping this year no one goes home early.
Gotcha. Now, do you ride motorcycles? Is this something that you enjoy doing? What's that like? What does that look like?
Well, I'm not a motorcyclist, but I like them, and my dad's one. So that's where he got the idea. And we liked Dad's idea so much that we decided, all right, you know what, let's give it a try. And the idea, while it wasn't our best one, hopefully to amplify it up this year, it worked. Let's try it again.
Now, do you have a fundraising goal to hit for the poker run? Do you have a goal that you're trying to keep in mind?
Well, that's not my side. That's more the nonprofit. My side is just get the motorcyclist out there.
Okay. And have them enjoying fun. How long is the area, or how long is the ride for?
If I remember correctly, 3 to 4 hours. So it's a long one, but it's a fun one.
Okay. So then everybody rides together as a group. This is something that really just bringing the end to bringing summer to a close?
Well, last year we tried separating them. I don't think that worked out quite well. So we're gonna try to keep the cattle together.
Now, are you going to be on the front end? Are you going to be helping to lead the pack, or are you going to be stationed somewhere?
I'm probably gonna be stationed at Harley and telling people to, all right, here we go, bombs away, and they're driving out to their first stop.
That's fantastic. Now, how much of the local community gets involved with that? And then how far do you want people to know about the poker run?
I want a lot of people to know about it, my friend. I want everyone to know about it if I can, but a lot of Bloomington and Bedford people know about it because that's where I'm from, smack dab in the middle of it.
Do you continue to meet autism families as you are active in the community and you are doing the things that you're doing now and you're just letting it be known? Do you have autism families come up to you and just kind of share their stories?
Yep, I had one today actually while I was at work. Their family is a nice family, and she had 2 daughters, I think, that were on the autism spectrum.
And so I'm going to guess that it was just a bright spot for her to be able to see and just kind of hear how you're moving in life and just all the things that you're doing for yourself. And so were her daughters younger?
As far as in the mindset, yes, but as far as body wise, no.
Okay. One thing I gotta ask you for sure is that you had made mention beforehand that you had met Dr. Temple Grandin and that she was somebody who that you had on your podcast. What was it like to talk to her?
It was pretty good, my friend. We learned a lot about how those on the spectrum think. She's one of our closest friends and a close contact of ours. We got some great collaborative work with her coming up. We might have some expert panel advice coming up. We're trying to figure out a date for that. So that's that. And that'll be coming up very soon. But we also have modules, and I'm sure Temple Grandin will be part of those modules. It will also be coming up very soon.
Yeah, she is such an amazing force in the for those who are watching who are just not familiar with her. She is probably the biggest name, the biggest autism advocate, the biggest celebrity who is living with autism, who has made such profound leaps and bounds to break through with autism. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to the Health Revolution. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are breaking boundaries with autism. My guest today, Sam Mitchell, he's an amazing young man living with autism, and he's got an incredible podcast. And Sam, as we're bringing things to a close, where can viewers find you in the virtual space? Where are you out there on your website and social media?
So you can find me on your favorite media platform. Not a hard guy to find. If you Google me, something will pop up. But if you want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Facebook called Autism, Sam Stories, and Other Resources, and the Instagram page, Autism Rocks and Rolls Pod. But my main website is, if you want to check more of my information out, go to, there you go, right there, autismrocksandrolls.com.
And what would you tell those who are watching that, maybe that they just found out that a family member of theirs, or maybe a parent is watching, and they're just now learning of a young child that was diagnosed with autism? What is the one thing that you would like to share with them that it was helpful or would be helpful for them?
Ignore online to a point. So online, when they go there to wherever, it's going to show some truths about autism, but there's not a whole lot of positivity out there. Find the positivity in your dark hole. There's something positive out there. All the videos you're seeing, it's true, but not all true. Find the facts and find the crap.
And I love that, how you distinguish how there's that level of resilience that you're showing, that don't believe everything that you read on the internet. But I love the fact that you are such a strong example of defying any odds or any myths or any assumptions that people might have about those living with autism. Is there anything else that you would love to share with our viewers about your journey?
Well, I don't think this is really a false motivational speech. I think it's the facts of life. If the world could be nice, just not act so stupid, I think we get along so much better, don't you think?
Yes. 100%. I mean, it would make life easier, especially if we were just a little bit, if we knew how our actions affected others, if we watched what we said and did, then the world would be absolutely. So, Sam Mitchell, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending time with us, and being someone who is an example of just really truly living such a quality of life, and just being optimistic about what you have to offer, and just really embracing life. Thank you for being with us. And for all of our viewers who are watching, of course, you can find our website on the internet, thehealthrevolutiontv.com. You can always reach out to us for any show information. If you have ideas for show topics, feel free to let us know. You can subscribe to our newsletter, send us an email for any ideas. Upper left-hand corner of our screen, you're going to see our QR code. Feel free to grab that. And of course, as always, we want to thank our sponsors for being a part of sponsoring the show. And last but not least, we are so thrilled that you are here. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, no matter which way you're tuning into us. We're always here on the Achieve TV channel on E360 TV every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern is where you can find us. And that is all the time that we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, take care of you. We'll see you soon.